Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Wedflics. I'm your host Julia Braime. I'm the editor of Unveiled magazine and the founder and editor of Brides Up North, the top UK wedding blog for northern couples. Today I am welcoming a very special guest to the series. It's Danni Hesketh, the owner of Y.A.P Bridal, location Newcastle upon Tyne. Danni's boutique is absolutely to die for, and it is full of really fashion forward, beautiful romantic labels. Today with Danni, we're going to be talking about one of my very favourite topics, which is bridal fashion. We're going to have a look at the gowns that she has in her studio, and also we're going to be talking through the top trends for the coming season. Welcome to Wedflics. Danni is the owner of Y.A.P Bridal in Newcastle upon Tyne. She's one of my good industry friends, and we have worked together on our magazine Unveiled and on some of our wedding shows for years under the Y.A.P name. Danni, do you want to introduce yourself and your gorgeous boutique?
I will do. Hi Julia. So I'm Danni and I'm from Y.A.P Bridal, which is in the heart of Newcastle. We've been open since 2010, so we've been around for quite a while now. And we carry a complete mix of gorgeous designers from all over the globe.
Fabulous. So Danni, you took over the boutique from your founder Joe last May. Yeah. So you're coming up to your first year in business as the owner, and I think it's been a good year, hasn't it? Apart from this little bit at the end. We're filming this during lockdown. What's been your journey up to that point? Like, what's your own background and how did you get into this?
So I moved up to Newcastle, so I've been up here 13 years now, so originally from Yorkshire, for university. So I did fashion marketing at Northumbria Uni, which kind of set me in the stead of the fashion route. And I knew I wanted to stay up north, and bridal was always an industry that I was really interested in. So I actually started as a Saturday girl at Y.A.P Bridal when we first opened, so I would say back in 2010, and then grew from there. So I became the manager for about 4 years. And then it came to the time last year when Joe was ready to kind of spread her wings and hand the reins over, and I became the owner. So it's always been
Yeah, always your dream.
Yeah.
Wow.
Totally. Who wouldn't want it?
Well, exactly. So many people's dreams. You're living it. So how's your first year been? What have you enjoyed about your first year?
First year's been lovely, really, really positive year. Obviously sticking with all our brides and making sure that they're finding their dream dress. It's been nice to put my own stamp on things as well, so I had a little bit of a rebrand last year. So we had a little bit of a logo change, switch up, and also a couple of designers in the boutique. We kind of had a bit of a play around. So it's been really nice just to put my own stamp on things for our brides and make it a little bit more modern as well. So
the boutique itself is gorgeous. How would you're talking to us from home at the moment because you're in lockdown. Your home looks pretty nice as well, to be honest, behind you there.
Virtual appointment set up, so this is where I'm based from to do my work.
Lovely. So how would you describe then the boutique space at Y.A.P Bridal, and what's its look and feel?
So the vibe we've gone for is a really stylish haven for our brides, a little bit more of a home from home. It's got a little bit of a boho vibe going on as well, with lots of pastels, velvets, and dried floral blooms. So they run throughout the boutique. So we had some really gorgeous installations put in last year. Just more to reflect our brand and obviously moving forward, and also the designers that we're carrying to keep it a little bit more modern. So it's got a really good mix of the ornate side mixed with the boho. So it's lovely. It's really, really pretty boutique to work in.
And how does it feel? Is it kind of welcoming? Is it is it chilled? Is it, I don't know, what's
everything. It's really relaxed, really welcoming. Obviously the team that we have in place, they've all got really different personalities, but they're all kind of on the same page. They're all really passionate and super driven. So we've created the environment together to make sure that the brides feel really welcome. I say really just a home from home where they can just relax and chill and just enjoy the environment that they're in. It's a really, really, really lovely space to work with, and it's really light and airy. Lots of natural light coming in, and nice big fitting room spaces. So we had a little bit of a switch up last year with that as well. So we've now got 3 separate fitting room areas, which is really, really lovely. You know, everyone can spread out and just enjoy and relax and not worry about what time we're on and if we're overrunning and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. No pressure. So it's all just kind of like a chilled out vibe.
Yeah, really nice flow, which is good.
Yeah, from knowing you, I think that is kind of your vibe. It's sort of chilled, friendly, relaxed, just loving life, really. Whenever I see you, you're loving life.
Always smiling.
And I'm always mega stressed. So, speaking about your designers, because we're all about the designers at Unveiled, and that's kind of how we know you best. What designers do you stock in the boutique?
So at the boutique, we have a gorgeous mix of designers from all over the globe, as I mentioned earlier. We carry some in London, who are based down in London. So Andre is an amazing, amazing designer. His gowns are a little bit more couture, so they're bespoke made down in his Greenwich studio. They are just to die for, absolutely divine. We have three amazing American labels. So we carry Maggie Sotero, which have been going for years. They are phenomenal dresses, all about the design and the detail and the fabrics that they use to create really beautiful silhouettes. So we also carry Maggie Sotero's baby sister brand, which is Rebecca Ingram. Again, same amazing quality, but they're just a little bit more for do-it-yourself type bride, a little bit more rustic, really young and fresh and a little bit more affordable. We carry Maury Lee, which is our American label. Again, been going for years. They are just amazing quality gowns, really beautiful, touch more on the traditional side, so if you've got a really classic vibe with your gown, they're kind of the dress for you. And we also have the beautiful Maddie Lane Australian label. So they joined us we chose our new gowns in Harrogate last year, and they joined the boutique in January this year. So we've just had them for a few months and we are just in love. They're beautiful. So super boho, super relaxed, just all about the detail and the botanical laces and things like that.
They gorgeous. Sound gorgeous. All of them, all of you. Oh, you've got one more, haven't you?
One more. So we also have Y.A.P Barcelona, which are based, obviously, Barcelona.
So I knew you had that one more because those are the gowns we shot for the last issue of Unveiled. I was thinking, oh, what about Y.A.P Barcelona?
Got Y.A.P Barcelona. So they're incredible. Really, we've gone with like a really boho vibe for them this year. So very beachy, very chic, lots of really kind of funky lace with really soft flowing crepes. So it's all about the silhouette with them this year. We've got that kind of really soft vibe, which is lovely. We can't wait for them to arrive.
Wow. So you buy then ahead. So so you said you bought at Harrogate. That's a big bridal trade show every year in September, and then there's also another show in London it's normally in March. Couldn't go ahead this year, but it'll be co-hosted, I think. Fingers crossed, with Harrogate this year. Is that where you do all your buying, or where do you get your inspiration from for the collections that you're bringing into the boutique? Is it at those shows, or is it online, or how is it?
There are two main shows that we love to go to. So London is one of the biggest events of the calendar year. That's where we tend to have a really good scout around and just see if there's anything that we're missing. The designers that we have in store are like our main labels. We love working with them. We've got really good relationships with all our designers kind of teams and our reps and things like that. So we know that we're always going to be buying new season gowns from those labels. But it's always nice to keep a little bit of an eye out just in case there is a little label that's kind of creeping up. Which is kind of what we did with Maddie Lane last year. We actually found them online. It was their Instagram that caught our eye. And we got in touch with them. They kind of came back to us and kind of said that they saw us as a soulmate stockist, I think was the word that they used, which was really lovely to have, and that bond from the beginning. So we're always kind of like on the lookout for new things. Harrogate's also an amazing show, and that's kind of like our second date in the calendar year. And then we also go to Barcelona in January, so we'd go to the shows there, so normally to the showroom of Y.A.P Barcelona, which is gorgeous as well because it's all set out.
Love the Rosa Clara showroom.
Oh, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. It's nice to see them all and be able to touch them and kind of see them in person, because obviously the catwalks are wonderful to watch, but it is nice to get up close with your gowns as well when you're picking them for our brides.
So once you see a full collection from a designer, obviously there can be anything between like sort of 20 to hundreds of dresses from any one designer, depending on how they work and how they structure their collections. How do you kind of drill down into the dresses that you're going to bring home from that collection? Because you can't bring them all.
No. So
How does
with
that
those,
work?
we normally, so all the team has an input, which is really important for us because again, we have all different personalities, style ideas, but we know what works for our Northeast brides. We also get a lot of brides coming from different parts of the country, so we try and have a really good mix. But we definitely know our vibe. You know, we try and carry a complete mix of everything from romantic to classic, timeless, modern, boho, a bit of everything kind of goes on at the studio. There's definitely certain styles that we know stand out to us. So when we're handpicking them together, it's just been clever about knowing what we've already got in the studio and what is also coming in from our other designers as well. So it's just kind of, it's really hard work to try and pick out the exact dresses that we want to bring in. But it works really well. We've been doing it for 10 years, so we know what we're bringing in, we know what we're doing, and there is such a gorgeous collection coming through for this summer.
Yeah, I suppose it becomes a little bit intrinsic that you kind of, it's your vibe, so therefore you connect with certain gowns more than others, just as you would if you were a bride shopping for yourself. And if you have your ideal client in mind as your Y.A.P bridal bride, then you're kind of shopping for her first to bring her a selection. So who would be your Y.A.P bride?
Well, our Y.A.P bride is a complete mixture. We don't have a set niche of person. You know, our brides, we just build that connection when they come in. So it's a complete mixture of people that come through our door, and it's all about building that rapport with them, and that's how they become part of our family and we become part of theirs. So I wouldn't say we have a certain type of bride, because
it's less of a style, it's more of a feeling.
Yeah, more of a feeling. So we build connections, and you just know totally.
Wow. So in the studio, I've been calling your studio a boutique for the first half of this video. We're not going to reshoot it.
That's absolutely fine.
But it is a studio, and you're right, it is a studio space. So sorry about that.
Don't worry.
But once the dresses are in the studio, obviously you'll then have even more time to kind of like get to grips with your collections, and work with them on body shapes and see them on real people, try them on yourselves. Do you try them on yourselves?
Sometimes.
I think it's important because, you know, you've got to get to know how it feels on a body, don't you? So sometimes a dress will look really different kind of on a model on a catwalk, and then on like an off the peg scenario, and then on a real bride. So I think kind of like you get to know them, and ones that kind of weren't so favourite at the start, maybe a filler, will become favourites because of the way it works and kind of the way you kind of go through it. But so from each designer then, in your new in the dresses you've got in at the moment for brides that will be able to come in and see you as soon as we can, tell us kind of like what you think your kind of top pick from each designer is.
Ooh, interesting. So
just for you, this is just based on you.
Yeah, so for my personal kind of style, from Savin London, I would say the Alika gown, which is really gorgeous, clean neckline, deep V, gorgeous crepe top half with a 3D embellished floral skirt that's really soft and romantic. So it's got a lot of movement. It's one of his most iconic designs, I would say. So that would be my top pick for Savin London. For Ira Barcelona, I would go with, there's a gown called Nairobi. So she's quite new to the boutique. We actually added her into our collection at the end of last year. She's a really gorgeous halter neck with a quirky lace. And again, she's got that really soft, like a chiffon fitted sheath skirt.
I think we shot that gown for our last Unveiled editorial.
Yeah, she was gorgeous. So she's full coverage front and back, which is one of my favourite little styles. I do love kind of seeing something a little bit different with those necklines. And she's got a detachable flowing train as well, which is a really nice idea. That's coming in a lot this kind of year on the catwalks. For Maddie Lane, we've actually just added one of their classic gowns, which is called Laura. So Laura is gorgeous Bardot neckline, really soft, romantic lace straps just draping down on your shoulder. And she's full head-to-toe botanical 3D florals. So she's really pretty. So she was just a must-have. We just added her in kind of, because she will be a consistent gown with their collections no matter what. I think she's one of the originals from Maddie Lane. And we've got the Ivory of a Mocha, which is beautiful. It's just got that depth to the dress. Maggie Sotero. Ooh, let's have a little think. My gown was obviously a Maggie Sotero gown as well, so I've got a big soft spot for them. I would say from Maggie, we'll go with Fernanda. So Fernanda is, again, really, really pure, big long train and classic buttons all the way down the back.
Gorgeous. We love a classic button look down the back, don't we?
Buttons down the back, which is beautiful. But she's got a really lovely shapewear lining, which is what they're doing in quite a lot of their gowns this year. All about kind of like your silhouette and making sure it just clings in all the right places and holds you perfectly. So she's just a really kind of classic timeless gown, which is just got a little bit of a modern edge with a touch of sass with the neckline and things like that. Rebecca Ingram will go with Molly. So Molly is head to toe really quirky lace, a little bit of a plunge at the front. She is just really fresh, really young vibes, very rustic kind of barn style wedding.
Nice.
Got a little fit and flare underneath her soft skirt, so she's kind of like both dresses in one, which is really, really lovely. So the last one is Murray Lee, and we will go with, let's have a little think. We'll go with Ronan. So Ronan is a lace top gown, which is very similar to my wedding dress, actually. Really lovely coverage on the shoulders, and lace head to toe, really soft, romantic, flowing skirts. It nips you in at the waist and then just drops away. And it's got a little tiny touch of like pearl embellishment all the way through. So she's really lovely.
Oh, I could talk about dresses all day long. It's a favourite part of my job. I go to Barcelona too, and I absolutely love going to the showrooms and the catwalks, and same at London. But at Barcelona, they kind of bring a bit of party to it as well, so it's a really lovely experience, isn't it? But yeah, all those gowns just sound absolutely amazing, and so different for all different types of brides, like you say, but all with that lovely feel. It's gorgeous. Let's talk about trends then.
Okay.
Because we touched on a few just then, things like your detachable train. So if you were going to choose 5 top trends for coming up, if you tell me about the trend and like what you love about it, and maybe if you could pick a dress from one of your designers.
Oh God, you're putting us on the spot, Julie.
I know, it's hard. You didn't think this was going to be easy to do.
So we'll kick off with Maggie Sotero, and we'll go for the caisson gown with the caisson matching train. So it's a detachable overskirt. This gown has got a gorgeous dip sweetheart neckline. It's all about, again, your silhouette, and it's got a shorter train underneath, which is why the overskirt basically gives you the drama, and that's what we're seeing a lot at the moment. A lot of the new season collections that will be coming through at the end of the summer as well have got these detachable trains, detachable overskirts. So it gives you 2 looks in one. So that's a this year, I'd say, is your detachable overskirts.
So to just focus on that a bit more, with the detachable train, is the idea that for when you kind of come down your aisle or enter your ceremony space, however you're doing that, you've got your big train on and you come in like with the full look.
Yeah.
When do you then when would you take off that train? What point in the day?
We'd probably recommend to keep it on for your drinks reception and your pictures afterwards, and we'll take it off before your meal. So that's kind of one of our top tips with a lot of our brides is we say if you've got things like access with like veils and overskirts on, it's a nice time to take them off because it makes it much easier for when you start having your meal. And when you're going around the tables and mingling with your guests, it's just nice so that you don't get caught on anybody. You don't catch your veil as you sat down, especially if you've got a bigger dress on. It's so easy to kind of sit back and then be stuck in that position for the whole
day. Practically speaking as well, you can also get quite hot because you're a person who's, even if you're strapless or wearing nothing up here, strappy, everyone else will generally be, for a wedding, being kind of like knee length type dresses, and you'll be the only person in a full skirt under a boiling hot table. And it's quite nice to like shed a few layers to kind of chill out a little bit, isn't it?
Definitely, especially with that style with the caisson dress. The nice thing, as I was mentioning, is she has a shorter train underneath, so you're not stuck with another long train, if that makes sense. So when you're dancing later on, you don't have to have it bustled up. You can literally just enjoy the evening and just not worry about your dress and your train, which is lovely.
Yeah, you can bet that one of the groomsmen will be wearing the train tied around his head.
Definitely.
Make sure to get it back. Okay, so trend number 2.
So trend number 2, I would say shimmer. So we've seen a lot of shimmer on the catwalks. We've got a gorgeous gown that's arriving later this summer. I think she's called Austin off the top of my head. I'll say this is the brand new season collection gowns, Y.A.P Bridal. So we've picked those from our virtual catwalks, which has been a testing time as well, because it's kind of going back to your old school methods of choosing your bridal gowns instead of the big shows. So Austin has head-to-toe shimmer throughout. It's more of like a glitter shimmer this year, I'd say, is coming through. It's not all about jewels and lots of beading. It's more about the glitter and the soft shimmer. So a lot of gowns this year have also got the shimmer underlayer, so they might have a lace over the top and just got that little bit of depth. So it just kind of sparkles away as you walk in, which is really, really lovely. Especially because a lot of the bigger grand venues are a little bit darker. You know, if they've got a lot of stonework and wood, it'll just make your gown pop that little bit more. It gives that kind of classic twist, a little bit of a modern edge on your gown.
You're right about sort of darker venues. Stately homes are coming back to the fore of bridal styling as well. Barns have been very popular for a while. They're still enduring, but I'm seeing more and more weddings at stately homes and sort of more classic venues coming through in the magazine and on the blog. And also, I guess for brides and grooms who've had to move their weddings because of the current crisis with the coronavirus, quite a lot of people have had to move from a summer to a winter wedding. And that bit of sparkle is a way of kind of like bringing that kind of magic from the summer to your winter wedding, isn't it? And kind of candlelight, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it just catches the eye a little bit more, which is, they've kept the classic style with the lace and the details over the top, but it just gives that little extra, a bit of an extra kind of wow underneath it.
Bit more magic. I love magic. Love sparkle, obviously. Very girly over here. Okay, so what's your third trend?
So third trend I'm going to talk about is having a little bit of a split in the front of your gown. So we've seen this a lot with our designers this year, especially Sav in London. So I will talk about the gorgeous Callie gown. So she's on our Instagram at the moment as well. We've just featured her recently because she's already arrived in store, which is really exciting. So Savin's kind of got that signature split. It just goes just above the knee. A lot of the time you don't notice that the dress has got an actual split until you start moving around in her. But that it just really a little bit more flexibility with your gown, a little bit more movement. It also means you've got an amazing pair of shoes. You can have them a little bit more on show for some of the pictures and things. And we've seen that kind of trickle through our other designers as well. So Maddie Lane, for their new season collection's got a few little splits in some of their gowns, but they also come with the option that you can have them made without the split. So it's really, really flexible for our brides. So if you're not quite as much of a fan of having a little bit too much on show with the legs, you can have that kind of pre-made without the split as well. And the same with Savin, he's really flexible on his gowns, but it is his signature little touch.
I love that split. I think it's a really nice kind of like you say, like shows off the shoes, because often you spend so much time choosing your bridal shoes and loads of money on them as well so often, and you just don't see them. So I think it's nice to show them off, but also it's a little bit sexy, isn't it? It's a little bit Jessica Rabbit.
Touch of sass.
Love a touch of Savin sass.
Yeah.
Savin's definitely got sass, hasn't he, Andre? He definitely brings the sass. We love him too. Okay, so next trend. We're rattling through these.
So next trend, we'll go with the soft border sleeves, which we've seen a lot with our current designers. Next season, we see a lot of kind of like the flutter sleeves and the bell sleeves coming through. So next season, our brides will see a lot of detachable sleeve options, so which is really nice. So it just means we've got the flexibility coming through from the designers in being able to mix up your gown again throughout the day. So it's a little bit like your detachable overskirts. You can have one look for during the ceremony, a different look for your photos, a different look for your evening guests arriving. So I would say sleeves are a big trend coming through. But it's just a mix of sleeves now as well. It's not just your traditional fitted lace sleeve, shoulder to wrist. It's more of a modern twist on that this year.
Yeah, I think it kind of came from like celebrity brides like Millie McIntosh with her halfpenny gown. Is that halfpenny with the sleeve? But yeah, I really like a bell sleeve. I kind of like the ones that are sort of halfway down, a bit of a cold shoulder.
Love them, absolutely love them. So quite a lot of our gowns this year have had those in. They're kind of what we fell in love with at the Harrogate shows, especially with Maddie Lane. Was that really soft, detachable little bordeaux. There's also on the Alora gown by Maddie Lane. With that, it's designed so that you've got the lace little drop cuff, but it can also be popped on your shoulder as well, so you can wear it differently throughout the day without actually having to take it off. Which was really nice, because it was just kind of things like dancing on the night time. If you've got a really tall groom, you don't want to feel restricted, you just want to be able to enjoy and just kind of enjoy the romance of the night of dancing.
Yeah. And then, okay, so how about one final trend? Because I could literally talk all day.
Trend, I would say, is the plain fabrics. You know, it's a classic look. It really hit the catwalks last year, and kind of came back with a boom. It's just all about the pureness, all about your silhouette, and the shape of your gown. But it's also, it's just such a classic look. Who could not love, you know, that really pure fabric? So we've got quite a few at the studio actually of this type of gown. We'll roll with Ira Barcelona, and it's a gown called Zeus. So Zeus is a sheath style gown, really all about the pure fabrics, but then has a really impactful shoulder and a little bit of a side belt detail. So it's not taking anything away from the silhouette at the front. It's all about that pure fabric, but it's just got those little touches of wow. It's got a really statement back, with the jewels against the plain fabric. What's interesting, I think, with that look is like a really plain gown, although it has those stylish touches. You think, okay, oh, it's really plain, but actually that can be more impactful than like a more traditional kind of lace or beaded gown. And particularly if you team it with like a flicky eyeliner and a red lip, what a look. Just a really strong, independent woman type look. There's to be fair, there's Maddox as well by Maddie Lane, which is a one shoulder pure crepe gown, and that's a really statement piece. So that's got a detachable bow with a flowing drape to the side, which you might have seen on a couple of our Instagram posts as well. I think she's got that statement. So she's got that classic edge, but she's also got the modern bride vibe. So she's a really, really kind of like key piece for this summer as well. Yeah, really fashionable. It's lovely, that really fashion forward and kind of, just got no, like I say, impactful, really. Yeah. So I think Margot Robbie would wear, or, you know, Angelina or something like that. You know, it's more like a red carpet kind of vibe, isn't it, that it brings to it? It's just a bridal twist on it. It's just gorgeous. So that's definitely one to watch. Is the one shoulder is definitely making a little bit of a comeback on the plain fabrics, which is, it's nice and refreshing to see, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we could literally go on for hours. Advice then for girls at home who are kind of researching, how can they, first of all, like what sort of avenues online would you suggest for them to be looking into kind of the sorts of dresses they like, and how can they prepare for their appointment? And then what are you doing to help them prepare? So what I'd say is Pinterest is a massive, massive social platform. We've actually got our own Pinterest page under Y.A.P Bridal. So with that, we kind of create lots of different mood boards based on different venues. It's not just all about dress ideas. It's about kind of matching everything in together. So I'd say Pinterest is probably one of the biggest platforms at the moment to kind of start your research on. Also have a little look at your local retailers and what gowns and designers that they stock. So with our website, ours is really easy to use. You can pop onto our designer page and then you can click directly onto our designers and have a really good kind of rummage through all the gown kind of collections, past and present, because they'll all be current season. So Instagram is a big one for us. Our Instagram, we try and keep it really relevant. Lots of posts about dresses, but also about different aspects of your day. And it's just thinking about kind of tying everything in together, really. Style of venue is really, really important in time of year. So really have a good think about that and what kind of gown might reflect your style and the day that you're going for. And what happens when they come in to see you? Like, what's the process? So they come into the boutique. I mean, I know you pride yourselves on your service. Yeah, we talk about that a lot, don't we, behind the scenes? So, like, what's the service, the process, the extras and things that you do for them at Y.A.P? So normally have obviously really, really warm welcomes. This is going to be the hard part for us because we're such a big team about hugging and cuddles and just really, really warm welcomes and teas and coffees and just sit down chats to get to know everybody. And that will obviously continue, but we're just going to have to adapt our methods and our ways a little bit just for the social distancing for the next few months. But the most important thing is obviously getting you in for your appointments. But yeah, we start with a sit down chat and kind of recap over kind of the day and what's going on and where it's going to be, because to us it's so important for us to be able to visualize you in your dress in your venue and who's going to be around you. And then we chat through all your gown ideas. So some brides are really, really open, and there's no right and wrong when you come in for your appointment. It's all just about building that connection. So we chat through all kind of style ideas or certain aspects, because some brides are kind of, they know what they don't want, you know, so sometimes that can work just as well. And then we head through to the boutique side, so to where all the gorgeous gowns are. And as I mentioned before, we've got the gorgeous seating areas now for each fitting room, so you've got your own personal space. So it's really, really lovely, and your stylist will be looking after you throughout, so you've got the one same person. So there will be somebody on stylist support, but you have the same stylist throughout, you know, that's with you from start to finish, which is really lovely. So we help you to handpick. We normally try 5 or 6 gowns, so it's not too overwhelming. And kind of when you get to that number of dresses, you kind of forget what you've had on. So it's kind of important to keep it focused. And we know that we can switch up, you know, if you pick out a handful of dresses, those dresses might change throughout your appointment. You know, we might be switching dresses in and out. And then hopefully you'll be saying yes to the dress. So when it's feeling right, and we've given you all lots of information during your appointment, we tend to celebrate with a little cheeky glass of fizz. So it's an exciting time, and it's all about feeding information, and kind of the process of what happens next as well is so important to know throughout your appointment as well.
Mm-hmm. And then once they've chosen the gown, what happens then in brief? Lots of hard work.
Yeah. So obviously to order your gown, obviously we take a 50% deposit, and we take all your details down. So you get yourself a gorgeous Y.A.P order form, which has got all your information on, and we do your measurements. So we do bust, waist and hip, and work out our kind of plan, because obviously some brides do have a plan of action as to, you know, weight loss or body shape changes. Some people have got a personal trainer and they're like, right, well, I'm actually going to be doing this, that and the other. So, you know, or big life events as well, that kind of comes into play. So we kind of have that big discussion and work out, because every designer's got their own size chart as well, which is totally different to each other. So really on the same page, I'd say. So again, being really open with your plans. Some brides are staying exactly as they are, which is just perfect. You know, that is the dream kind of scenario for ordering the right size. And then your dress takes up to 6 months to be made. So she normally will be arriving in store, you know, those 6 months after. That's when we give you a call, super excited to say that she's arrived. So it's then time to come in and try her on, which is just...
So any brides now stressing at that 6 month time scale, can you do it quicker?
Yeah, don't stress. That's one of the big things we always say. Because we have had a few brides with the virtual appointments that have come on and been panicking. If they've been elsewhere, and, you know, they've kind of put that kind of panic into them a little bit more. So with us, it's all about, we're really, really genuine, really, really honest, and we will tell you what we can and can't do. So we're not going to make promises that we know aren't going to work for our brides. So we have, with our designers, obviously these really great relationships, and they will go above on to help us try and reach the perfect dress in time for our brides. We also have a big sample sale range, which is dresses that you can buy off the peg. So they, complete mixture of designer labels, immaculate condition, and they've got an amazing price tag with them, so they're really specially discounted. So they're great if you're on a really short time scale. I mean, we had a lovely bride last week and she's getting married this November, so hopefully there'll be a gown that we could still order. We've got designers such as Maggie Ster and Rebecca Ingram as well. They offer a priority order list. So with their priority gowns, I think it's about a 12-week turnaround, so pretty quick really in the time scale. So everybody wants to kind of pull together during these times, they've also put together, they've got an amazing portal that we can access, so we can check live stock as well. So sometimes there might be the perfect dress made ready in your size in America that we can pull over to England. So there's lots of different ways to do things.
Yeah, lots of ways around it, so that no one's got to be worried. There's loads of styles,
pressure.
loads of dresses.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, you don't need any extra pressure at the moment, I don't think. Okay, so final question, hard one. If you were getting married tomorrow, although you can't, so if you were getting married soon, what would you pick? What's your gown?
So if I was to have a different gown to obviously the one that I had, I would go for the Maddie Lane Anya gown, which is due to arrive later this summer. So she's all about the really chic silhouette, and she's got the most amazing botanical lace running through her as well, and a little bit of a bow detail on the back, which is really pretty, that's coming through this season. So she's just really young, fresh, touch of sass, but it's got that really botanical edge. So I'm a big lace lover.
Amazing. There's a Savin gown I really like. I shouldn't pick a favourite, but there's a Savin gown I really like, which is kind of like a one shoulder. Do you start this one like a one shoulder? It's nude with like a sort of lacy overlay and a big skirt with a big bow.
Yeah, I know exactly which one you mean. We don't have that actual style in store, but we did have her in for the trunk show. So we have been doing, we did our first ever trunk show this year. In London, so that was our first one, and that was one of the gowns that we put when you first come into the studio. There's a gorgeous dress cabinet, and that gown took pride of place there for during the trunk show.
Yeah, I really like that one. Well done, Andre at Savin, for that dress, because it is amazing. It's trendy. It's got bows. It's got pockets. I think it's got
a little pocket in a wedding dress.
Yeah, it's got silk satin. It's a big ball gown, but it's one shoulder. It's got the nude. It's what a dress. I think that's my pick of the season, actually. But it's hard because I see so many. It's not like I only have 6 designers to choose from. I see so many designers all the time, and that dress really stood out to me as being exceptional. Really gorgeous dress. So if brides want to get in touch with you either for a virtual appointment now or to book an appointment once you reopen, how do they do so? How do they find you?
So the best way to find us is via our website, which is yapbridal.co.uk. On there you can book you can make a reservation for an appointment, so we can add you onto our waiting list until we know more about reopening times. You can also catch us on our email address, which is hello@yapbridal.co.uk. Obviously I'm the one on the email, so I'm Danni, so just direct it to me and I will get back to you as soon as possible. We have our Instagram page, which is again @Y.A.P Bridal, full of lots of inspiration. You can direct messages on there as well. So we're really, really kind of open. Our Facebook, we're always on hand. So any questions, any advice you want, just drop us a line.
Fabulous. Thank you, Danni. That's been amazing. Lots of food for thought. Lots of brides looking forward to coming and seeing you, I'm sure, and discussing trends with you. So thank you. We'll all be on Pinterest later.
Definitely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.